Hi, I'm Anne McGarry, and welcome to Tuning into Joy. Over the next 8 sessions, I'll be looking at different perspectives on tuning into joy. I'm going to introduce 8 different qualities to develop and cultivate joy in our lives. I have been greatly influenced by the Book of Joy by the Dalai Lama, Desmond Tutu, and their interviews with Doug Abrams. So in that book, they talk about 8 pillars to joy, 4 of which are mind-based and the other 4 are heart-based. So this short series of videos by me is going to look at each and every one of those qualities to develop and cultivate joy. So we'll start with perspective, which is a mind-based quality. Before we start on perspective, I'd like to talk about perception. So in any situation or issue or event that we have, we can make a response to it. So the event we will call the trigger, and the response is our reaction to it. And in between, we engage our heads about this and how we think about it. So our mind will have a particular influence from our thoughts and our feelings about the situation. Those are all stemming from how we have perceived these things before in our formative years. So the events will be influenced by our thinking or our perception. So instead of having a knee-jerk reaction to a stimulus or an event, we need to create a space. And the best way to create that space is to breathe. Just a few deep breaths before we actually make a response can make all the difference in the world. It can be the difference between you making a conscious choice or a knee-jerk reaction. Now let's look at perspective. Each and every one of us is an individual, and we each and every have a way of looking at the world that is unique to us. Nobody can look at it through our lens. So this is important to understand when we get into perhaps a heated argument, that somebody else has a different perspective of the events. So it is very good for us to try and step back, take those breaths that I mentioned, and see if there is a different way that we can look at the event. Maybe look at it and see what other way can I look at that, and particularly see if we can take the positive out of the event or reframe it in a positive way rather than in a negative and confrontational way. So that's just a few pointers on perspective. Now, what I have found in my own life and a good way to see am I cultivating joy, bring it into my daily life, is to set my alarm on my mobile and set it maybe every 2 to 3 hours during the day and see whether I am in a joyful state or not. And if there are events that are upsetting me or causing grief, maybe take a conscious choice to introduce more joy in my life and maybe see things from this broader perspective. So I'll leave you for now, and I hope you'll join me for the second session